Good evening. It's pretty late, but I had something on my mind. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know when I've got something on my mind or I'm thinking something, I've got to share it, especially when it's of the Lord. And I learned a valuable lesson a while back. I pray. And I always say, God, if someone's hurt me, I always say, God, I choose to forgive. I choose to forgive. I choose to forgive. Lord, I don't want to hold on to any anger, no bitterness, no resentment, no unforgiveness. Lord, I choose to forgive. And I thought I was doing pretty good at that, And a while back, I was challenged. I really was with someone that had hurt me many, many times, And this person said or did something that upset me again. And I lost it. I did. I just recounted to them everything they had ever said and done to hurt me. I'm surprised that I didn't give day, hour, minute, and to the second what they had done. And I said it with such passion, and I could feel that passion, and I could feel that hurt and some anger. And I thought to myself, it dawned on me, there's just no way I could have forgiven them. There's no way that I could forgive them and feel all that I was feeling. And with the passion and a little bit of anger, and recount to them everything they had ever done and just make them feel horrible about themselves, But I had been praying. I said, God, if there's anything in my heart that I need to see that is unpleasing to you, if there is any sin there, if there is something I need to see, please show it to me. And I even asked, I believe I even asked if there was any forgiveness, show it to me. And I'm telling you, He will show you. He will. And I felt horrible. I felt horrible, but you know what? I'm so thankful for that moment. I'm thankful for that moment because I really thought I had. It's easy. It's easy for us, if we're not careful, to not see something like that, because sometimes we feel that we have a reason to be angry and maybe not, and maybe hold a grudge. So I would like to talk to you about unforgiveness. And I'd like to start with Hebrews 12:15. Looking diligently, lest any man fall of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness spring up, trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Matthew 5:44 and 45. I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them that despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. That is tough, isn't it? Love your enemies. Do good to them that hate you. Pray for them that despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. We might think that it's impossible to do what He's asking us to do right there. But if we're born again and His Spirit dwells in us, then it is more than possible. He wouldn't ask us to do anything that He didn't equip us to be able to do. We have all that we need because His Spirit is in us. And not only does He ask us to do it, He expects it from us. Mark 11:25 and 26. And when ye stand praying, forgive, if ye have aught against any, that your Father also which is in heaven may forgive you of your trespasses. But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father which is in heaven forgive your trespasses. That's heavy. Matthew 6:14 and 15. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. It's like unforgiveness is like some kind of a cancer that just kind of lays secretly hidden, undetected in some cases until it's too late. And it just causes so much anger and bitterness to grow. And it's so dangerous to hold on to. It is. Matthew 18, verses 23 through 35. Therefore the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants. And when he began to reckon, or to check the books, one owed him 10,000 talents. But for as much as he couldn't pay his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and his children and all that he had, and payment to be made. And the servant fell down and worshipped the Lord, and said, Have patience on me, and I will pay you all. Then the Lord of that servant had compassion and forgave him the debt. Then that same servant went out and found one of his fellow servants that owed him 100 pence. And he laid hands on him and took him by the throat and said, Pay me all that you owe. And his fellow servant fell down at his feet, saying, Have patience with me, and I will pay you all. But he wouldn't. He cast him into prison till he should pay the debt. And when his Lord found out, he said to him, O you wicked servant, I forgave you all of that debt, because you desired of me to. Should you not have had compassion on your fellow servant, even as I had on you? And his Lord was angry and delivered him to the tormentors till he should pay all. So likewise shall my heavenly Father also do unto you, if you from your heart forgive not everyone his brother trespasses. Wow. You know, the devil will help us feel totally justified in walking in unforgiveness. He will help us to stay mad and offended. He wants us to live in that unforgiveness. That unforgiveness hinders our prayers. It keeps us out of God's will. It's like a huge wall of sin between us and God. And the only way to break it down is to forgive. We may think that we have forgiven, and sometimes we haven't. We just haven't. You know, we may think in our hearts, well, you just don't know what that person's done to me. They've hurt me so much. I just can't forgive them. You know, we have to think about how much God has forgiven us of. How bad we've hurt Him. How many times that we have sinned over and over through the years. And yet God has forgiven us. And He's even forgotten it. He's had mercy. We must forgive. We must. 1 John 3:15 says, whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer. We got to remember, if we forgive, our Heavenly Father will forgive us. But if we forgive not, our Heavenly Father will not forgive our trespasses. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. You know, we got to think, if our prayers aren't being answered, if we feel that we aren't progressing in our walk with God, if we're battling bitterness and sin, maybe we should stop and take a moment and search our hearts and see if there's unforgiveness there. If we're holding something against someone, you know, if we ask God to show us, He will. He'll show us. We need to have compassion and forgive those that we may be holding unforgiveness and grudges against. Because it's not hurting us. I mean, it's not hurting them, it's hurting us. And it's going to continue to hurt us. And destroy us if we let it. You know, Isaiah 43:25 says, even I am He that blots out your transgression for my sake, and will not remember your sin. He forgives and He forgets. We don't need to let unforgiveness hinder our communication with Him and our communion with Him. Don't let it hinder our blessings. We need to choose to not only let it go, but to forgive and to forget. And I know that seems impossible, but think about it. 10 years ago, somebody said something that made you angry. You don't remember that conversation. Most of the time, it's forgotten. God can help us to forgive and to forget. It's dangerous. That unforgiveness is so dangerous. And I was thinking about that, especially when I caught myself in that moment. I really, truly thought I had forgiven. And it's so easy to say, I forgive, I forgive, I forgive. But to truly forgive and to let it go takes God. And it takes giving it to Him and letting that love, that same love that He's used towards forgiving us. Because I don't know about you, but He has forgiven me so much. So much, so many times. And I want to be like Him. And I want that love and that compassion. And we can have it through Him. But that's what was on my mind this evening. I was thinking about unforgiveness. And how bad it hurts us. And how damaging it can be now and in the long run. And how secretly it can just stay under the surface if we choose to not face it. So, if you're out there and you're holding a grudge against someone and someone's hurt you, let it go. Don't let it hurt you anymore. And go to God with it. And help Him, or let Him help you release it. And if you're having a hard time forgiving someone, you know, we got to sit and think before we act and cause somebody else pain. Because not only will we hurt them and cause them pain, but then we leave them with the struggle of trying to forgive and forget. So, anyway, it's late. And that was what was on my mind. And I hope that I articulated it and shared the scriptures and helped somehow someone else out there, even with my sleepiness. And I hope you have a good night and a great day tomorrow. God bless. Bye.